What is going on, everyone? We are back in our Bears franchise in Madden 17. It is week 9. It is our bye week. We are doing a mid-season update in today's episode. And before we get to the updating, we got a couple things to take care of. We have a couple big injury decisions. Those are going to be pretty easy decisions, I think. And we also have a roster move we made because of an injury last week. So first, Kevin White. And actually for Zach Miller as well. It's weird because it's a bye week, so they're not going to be playing this week regardless. But either way, even if we had a game, I'm not starting either of these guys. Kevin White will be back next week against the Vikings. Miller, I think, returns the week after that. But there's no reason to start either of them. The attribute drops they get, especially with the chance of re-injury, it's just way too high. So we'll let them come back when they are ready. Now on to, speaking of injuries, Darrell Freeman got hurt last week. He is out 29 more weeks after this week. So we signed Tyler Matakevich off of the practice squad. He is now going to be the backup. Salisbury, the rookie, steps into the starting spot. Hopefully there won't be too much of a drop-off between him and Freeman. And then we are going to sign R.J. Terry, sign him back to the practice squad. He's been on there a couple times, but that's the move we make there. Now on to the update. The Steelers lead the AFC North at 4-3. Browns behind them at 3-4. Bengals at 3-5. Ravens at 2-4-1. So that division is still very competitive here through this first half of the season. Jaguars are going to lead the AFC South at 5-2. Colts are 4-4. Texans have lost 4 in a row. They're at 3-5. And the Titans won 6-1. They've had a very rough season. They actually just won their first game last week. On to the AFC East. It's the Jets, the surprise team, at 6-1. Bills and Dolphins are 2-5, and the Patriots are in last place, 2-6. Of course, they do not have Tom Brady. He retired last year, so Jimmy Garoppolo is the quarterback. Clearly a big drop-off there. AFC West, it's the Chargers in the first at 6-1. Chiefs are 4-3. Broncos 3-4, and the Raiders are at 2-5. Surprised to see the Raiders struggling so much this season. Now on to the NFC. There are your Bears. We have a 2-game cushion, so it looks like everybody lost last week, which is good since we lost as well. But Packers are 4-4. Lions 3-4. Vikings are 3-5. We will see the Vikings next week. Hopefully we can give them their third straight loss. NFC South, the Falcons are 6-2. Buccaneers are 5-2. Saints are 4-3. Panthers are 3-4. Falcons winner 4 in a row, so they're very hot at the current moment. Now NFC East, it's the Cowboys at 6-1. Giants are at 5-2. Eagles are at 4-3, and the Redskins are at 2-5. So that's a very competitive division as always as well. And then the final division, the NFC West, it's the Seahawks at 7-1. They just lost their first game last week. Cardinals are 3-4. Rams are 2-5, and the 49ers 1-6. So the Seahawks have quite a bit of room there. Cardinals have won 3 in a row though, so they're coming back. Now looking at the stats here, Zach Dudley, it's been an okay first half of the season for our rookie QB. 2,100 yards, 12 touchdowns, but 10 interceptions, 16 sacks. We'll see how the interceptions compare to the rest of the league. It's not great. We're throwing way too many interceptions, but hopefully we're going to throw the ball less because we have this guy, Melvin Gordon, 605 yards, 7 touchdowns. We've probably accounted for about 200 of that through the first couple games he's played. Jeremy Langford, 243. Howard, 158. But you can see the yards per carry, 3.7 for Howard, 3.9 for Langford. Part of the reason why we made the move for Gordon. Now on to receiving. Daniel Braverman leading the team with 42 receptions. Miller with 34, and he's actually there, and he's been hurt for the last couple weeks. Receiving yards, it's Braverman as well, 410. Miller at 404. Wilson just under 300. White at 242. Will be coming back next week, I do believe. Gordon at 181. Langford at 148. Coleman at 148. Langford at 147. And Jeffrey, the only other guy, over 100, but he has been hurt for a couple weeks as well. And then touchdowns, it's 2 for Miller, Wilson, and Coleman. And then a few guys with 1. On to defense, Adrian Amos leads the team with 59 tackles, 50 for Freeman, who is now out for the season. Trevathan with 47. Voorhees Greg, the rookie, with 40. Tackles for loss, it's 11 for Freeman, again, out for the rest of the season. 10 for Trevathan and Cecil Rudd, the rookie. McPhee with 9. Greg with 7. And then sacks, it is going to be Leonard Floyd, who started off the season very, very quickly, has taken a step back since then in the last couple weeks, but he's got 9.5 sacks, 7 for Rudd, 6.5 for McPhee, 5.5 for Hicks. And then interceptions, it is 5 for Kyle Fuller. He is having himself quite the year. Voorhees Greg, the rookie, with 2. Still impressive. Got those both in one game. And then Trevathan and Callahan with 1 apiece. Now looking around the league, Aaron Rodgers leads the passing race with 2,400 yards. Quite a bit of space between him and Matt Ryan. And then Dudley is there in third. Too many yards for a rookie, considering how many times we've passed, so hopefully that will go down. But Russell Wilson, 21 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Rodgers, 20-4. Ryan, 20-4. Dak Prescott, second-year player, 19-5. And then look at this. Jimmy Garoppolo, 11 interceptions. Alex Smith, 11. Osweiler, 10. And Zach Dudley. So we are tied for the second most interceptions in the league. That is not the one that we want to be on the top of the list for. Ezekiel Elliott leads the league in rushing, 724. Freeman with 711. And then Forte and Charles right under 700. Melvin Gordon there with 605. I do believe it's going to be Melvin Gordon leading the league in touchdowns, though. No, that's going to be David Johnson with 9. We are second, tied for second with Freeman and Ivory with 7, and then Ezekiel Elliott right there with 6, along with Taliaferro in Forte. And then receiving, it is going to be Jordy Nelson leading the league in reception with 55. No surprise there, considering how much Aaron Rodgers is throwing the ball. Receiving yards, though, is going to go to Brandon Cook with 75, Julio Jones with 746, Allen with 681, Hopkins with 679. We're not going to find any of our players near the top of this list. And then touchdowns, Julio Jones, 10 touchdowns in the first half of the season. That's crazy. Jordy Nelson with 9, Jermaine Kearse with 7. On to defense, Akeem Dent has 82 tackles, Maliuga with 79, Woodyard with 74. Tackles for loss, it's 15 for J.J. Watt, 12 for Aaron Donald, and 12 for Damon Harrison. Sacks here, and this is where it kind of screws up again because we should be on this list. We should be third with Leonard Floyd. It's going to be Anza and Graham with 10.5. Floyd should be there with 9.5, but it's going to be 9 for Robert Quinn. And then interceptions, that should be Kyle Fuller leading the league with 5, but he's not even on the list. Sean Davis has 4. Kuechly doubled his total on us last week with 4 now, and Darius Slay has 4 as well. For our offensive yards, we're 11th in offensive yards, 1st in defensive yards. The defense has been phenomenal this season. Points scored, we are 14th. And then points against, we are going to be, I think, 2nd. So defense has really carried this team. Russell Wilson is your early clubhouse leader for MVP. Zach Dudley is 1st in Offensive Rookie of the Year. No surprise there. And Cecil Rudd is 1st for Defensive Rookie of the Year. You see Voorhees Greg is right below him in 5th. Dudley is 7th in the best QB race. It is going to be Melvin Gordon in 4th for the best running back race. It's going to be Leonard Floyd 5th for the best linebacker race. He's doing pretty well there, so at least getting the recognition. And then Kyle Fuller is in 2nd, right behind Darius Slay. We'll see if we can pass him over the course of the rest of the season. And then we have, who is it going to be? Lambeau there in 5th for best kickers. Now on to scouting, and this is what the big board is looking like. We got 2 left tackles at the top, then a halfback, a right end, a middle linebacker, a quarterback, an outside linebacker, a corner, middle linebacker, corner for the top 10. And then you see the rest of it, and like the top 10 was, it's a nice mix this year. There was a lot of corners in the first round. You can see there's a decent amount of wide receivers, but you see a lot of some centers, corners, ends, a lot of variety in this first round, which is good, and I kind of see that throughout the rest of the draft as well. But looking at the more specific positions here, halfback, I was scouting heavily before we made the trade for Melvin Gordon. I still have 4 guys on here, and 3 of them are power backs. I'm going to keep them on there because I would like to maybe grab a power back to kind of complement Melvin Gordon for next season. Wide receiver, I'm going to continue to scout wide receivers. I think we might need to address that in the draft. Tight end as well, even though we have found, I think, a bit of a gem in Tyler Higbee. We'll continue to maybe look at some tight ends. Austin Bosworth is a guy that was showing up in the news this week. As you can see, he's been frustrating defenses, so I've put him on my watch list. I'm going to scout him and see how good he is, and we'll kind of keep an eye on this. Haven't really seen any other guys pop up in the news that they put on there, but he is going to be on there at least for now. Now on to the offensive line, and this is a hot topic as of late since the trade for Melvin Gordon. I am going to try and upgrade the offensive line, center especially, and you can see there's 2 first-round guys there. I'm not sure how the draft will play out, though, so if we can address that early, then that'd be great. Otherwise, we might try and do it in the free agency period. That way we can leave the draft for something else. We did get 1 D tackle on the watch list. We got 2 middle linebackers, which I'm going to continue to scout more, especially considering the injury to Jarrell Freeman. And then that's it. I don't have any guys in the secondary. I've scouted some corners, but I have not found anything good, and I haven't really touched free safety or strong safety because that's 1 position or 2 positions I'm not really worried about. And actually, the secondary as a whole has played pretty well so far this season. So that is the watch list as it stands right now. As we now move on to Week 10, and we are going to be playing the Vikings again. We just played them a couple weeks ago. I do believe they will have Teddy Bridgewater back this time. We played Joel Stave last time, and we manhandled the Vikings a couple weeks ago. So we'll see if Bridgewater makes any difference. I'm sure he will, because Stave is just not a good quarterback, not very highly rated. So it's going to be Vikings next time. We will be getting Kevin White back, though, as well. So both teams having some different players, that will definitely be a big plus, especially for us in terms of our passing game with Kevin White returning. So Week 10, Vikings. That is going to come at you next time. We are now into the second half of the season. Cannot believe we are at this point. We have only lost 2 games. Our playoff chances are very, very serious. And with a win this week and maybe getting lucky and having the Packers or the Lions lose again, we could separate ourselves and get a 3-game lead after this coming week. So very, very big games to come here over these next couple weeks. Make sure you don't miss any. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a like. I'd really appreciate it. And subscribe to see any future videos that I make. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.